Hello and welcome to our second episode of Senioritis. Here I have my guest Maria with me. You're not a guest. You host it with me.
Co-host.
Thank you guys so much for watching the second one after the first one we did. This one's going to be a little bit shorter. So, how was your Thanksgiving?
Mine was good. It was very chill. It was very laid back. We made a lot of food. We had leftovers for a couple more days compared to usual. I'd have to say, best food I had that day was probably either the loaded sweet potatoes with like the marshmallows and brown sugar and all the goods, or you know those little not green onions, but like the fried onions that come in like the French's containers and you put them on green beans. I feel like nobody knows about those.
I feel like I do, but I'm not really sure.
They're so good. They're to die for.
Okay.
How was yours?
It was good. Every year I yell at my mom to make like mashed what is it? Butternut squash. No,
okay.
Mashed potatoes, and then like she makes the butternut squash like mashed and whipped as like the same consistency of mashed potatoes. It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go anywhere either.
I'm trying to think. I didn't go Black Friday shopping because no stores were open. That one time we went freshman year, I feel like the stores were open at midnight, but I went on all of the stores' websites and they were like, open at 5 a.m. I'm like, where's the thrill in that? Where's like the fun of everyone rushing over each other and like killing each other over getting that giant flat screen TV?
I know. I actually went. I had like a group of people. I woke up at 4 a.m. after it being my idea. The alarm went off and I was like, absolutely not.
I don't want to do this.
This is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But after I woke up for a while, it was better. We got to the mall like right before 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And I actually made out pretty well. Like, there wasn't that many people there anymore. Like, I mean, I'm happy that I got a bunch of stuff for like no money at all. But it wasn't as exciting as the first time because it's not like the huge rush of people, like you said.
Yeah.
I remember freshman year that it was like a whole sea of people.
It was, yeah. I remember I went to, where did I go? Oh, we were all waiting in that big line in pink, and I waited 45 minutes just to get one thing.
The Sherpa.
The Sherpa, yeah.
That was so funny.
I was so proud when I came back to school, too. Speaking of coming back to school, I've been slammed with work. Like, normally, it's not the end of the term or anything. I don't know if progress reports are coming out anytime soon, but I've just been hit with, we were supposed to have an exam in calculus this week. I had an exam today. I just got assigned another essay in Euro. What else? And then a bunch of other assignments that I can't name off the top of my head right now.
No, I agree with you. Literally, on Monday, all the teachers were like, yep, this week. And
back to work.
It's literally been 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Please, calm down. Please.
I mean, I guess I can kind of see where people are coming from, because if they have a certain number of allotted assignments to us that we have to get done by a certain time period, then yeah, but like, right after vacation, it's...
But that's their problem. But that is their problem.
Yeah.
I have to understand. Like, they always say, oh, I need so-and-so amount of grades. I have to get these grades in. So they put the stress on us. And I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
That's your fault that you didn't have enough graded assignments throughout the term before.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the added thing of, you know, the winter sports are finally back. Football is obviously still going on, and good luck to our Green Wave football team. Hopefully we get that championship tomorrow night. But sports just came back as of, what's today, Thursday? So 3 days ago, and that's just, teams are going full force.
How's track been for you?
I actually haven't been able to attend too many of my practices because I'm also in the play, or the musical. So it's almost like this is like our pre-tech week. So I've been going to all those rehearsals, and then today I'm actually heading to track and we have our first workout. The thing that's cool about this track season is that we have the biggest team that we've ever had in indoor track history, because we have the 8th graders on the team, and there's some fast kids.
Ooh, that's interesting. So you just do sprints in the winter? Like, how is winter different from spring?
Winter is basically shorter track. So if you're picturing the track up at Riley Field, it's 400 meters, which is a quarter of a mile. Indoor track up at Reggie Lewis and a lot of other indoor tracks around the New England area are 200 meters. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're banked instead of flat, so you have like that rising up curve. And it's really just different events. Like you said, I do sprints. My events in indoor are the 55-meter dash, the 300-meter dash, and long jump, and then those are really the only 2 sprint options that people have. So that's why some people like outdoor better, because it's more versatile for sprints. You can do 100, 200, or 400.
Also, Reggie Air.
Oh, it's so bad. It's like you take humid air, you picture like a 90-degree day, like in the middle of July when it gets super, super hot, 100% humidity, and then you recycle that air and cram it into all of these air vents in a building, and you're running in that with a mask, and that's the Reggie Lewis Center.
You said it was still bad even before COVID hit. I remember.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting.
The amount of times I've heard people be like, oh, Reggie Lewis air.
It's crusty.
Like,
that's really the best way to explain it, because when you inhale it, it's almost like you can taste it. It's bad.
it has a taste?
Yeah.
It should be oxygen.
It's bad. Especially when we run for a sport, I think it's like that added sensitivity to the air. Like if, for example, you're running in the cold, it makes your lungs burn. If it's humidity, it's almost like stuffy, and you can feel the difference in the air. So when you're indoors, that difference is just amplified 10 times over.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
But at the same time, I'm not complaining. Be back in the Reggie because we have fully automatic time again, also known as FAT timing, and it's really just like almost like grab and go, get our results. There's no hand time conversions. There's no nothing.
Oh, okay.
And it's good to just have, this is the closest we've had to a normal season.
I know. You have to be excited for that.
2020.
That's awful. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're always, like, every interview that anyone ever has, it's just going to keep going back to COVID because it screwed up so much of everything. And I'm like, man, remember that before? I
think this is a good thing to have, because if we, that's kind of the point of the show. It's almost like a reflection we've had, like you said, going back to 2020. That's probably going to be a topic every single time, because so much has changed and we're kind of in this completely new world. We're masked, we have to social distance, we have to be wary of other people spreading it, and all of these things. Our extracurriculars were changed, our school was changed, the way we interact with people was changed, and so I think it's really, as much as I hate to say it, it's like a permanent change, but at the same time not, because we are kind of getting back to normal.
We're sort of getting back.
As close as we can.
As close as we can. I mean, I feel like we're getting there, but nothing's going to stop us from being like, oh, remember when things were normal?
No, I know.
Like any other seniors, like regarding this whole like senioritis type topic, or they would just talk about, oh, senior year, we get to graduate, yay, but also it's sad and stressful for everyone. But everyone our age, or even the last senioritis kids, are just going to be like, man, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is different than it was supposed to be. Like, it's so strange to me.
I know.
Every time I want to talk about something, I'm just like, man, do you remember 2020?
Yeah.
That was a crazy year.
I think everyone, or a large majority of the people, can remember what they were doing at specific points in time on March 13th, 2020. At least I can, because I remember, and I've told this story before, I remember I was getting ready for Mamma Mia, our huge musical production of that year, and everyone was so ready, and we got canceled, as you know, 5 hours before showtime. And I just remember, even March 12th, I remember, I was in a journalism class with Miss Flommer, and we got these she gave us wipes to wipe down our computers, because she was like, oh, sanitation, like, we didn't think it was a big deal, so people kind of just didn't wipe down their computers. And I remember being in class that day without masks, and I remember looking at the wipe, and I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to need this. Like, Corona's not going to hit our school, and if it does, it'll only be a couple of cases.
Yeah, again, that is so weird. It's like, everyone does remember exactly what they were doing, because I remember even the day before, I was in Miss McHugh's English class, and she was like making a plan for us if we went completely remote outside of school. And she was telling us, and she was like, if we don't have school for the next couple weeks, I'm going to give you this book, and we're going to do this and that. And I remember also no one took it seriously, too. Yeah. Because it just came out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere. And I was just like, man, that's kind of dramatic. Like, not dramatic, but it was a safety precaution, but I didn't think I should take it seriously, because I was just like, oh, it's not real, it's not really going to happen to us. And then the next day it was like, boom, shut down for the next 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks became 6 weeks, and then we never came back.
Yeah.
I remember also standing in front of the TV thinking that I was going back to school in like another week after having a week off, and they announced, and they were like 5 to 6 weeks, and I was like, we're never getting out of this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, my face just like staring blankly at the TV. It wasn't scary, it was just like, I don't know, a fever dream.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only word that I can describe it as, but I'll never forget it.
Oh, for sure. I always joke, like, if my kids ever tell me that they're bored, I'm going to tell them all about this. I'm going to tell them I did not have any contact except FaceTime, like iMessage and Snapchat with my friends who I knew were perfectly fine, but I could not see them face to face. I couldn't. I literally, like, there was nothing to do because, like you said, people weren't really taking it seriously. So I didn't have homework to do. And as crazy as this sounds now, I almost would have wanted that because it would have been some sense of normalcy, you know? So yeah, I didn't have homework to do. I didn't have track to go to practice to. Granted, I could run, but it's not the same when you're not with your teammates. I didn't have track. I didn't have drama because that got canceled. I didn't have my friends that I could normally just walk up to and be like, hey, like, without a mask, you know? So it was really just like sitting there doing nothing, like waiting to hear if like someone you know, like a family or friend member, family member or friend has it, and hoping that never happens.
Be like back in her day, all grandma did was do puzzles and sit there and think for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, there was a lot of Netflix, there was a lot of Disney Plus that just came out. I did run a little bit, but honestly, it was like...
That's probably the only thing that saved you.
Honestly. A lot of team FaceTimes, a lot of FaceTimes with our friend group. And yeah, I mean, I'm just so glad that we kind of have those things to kind of fall back on, because I don't think we realize how much, like, sometimes people complain like, oh, I don't want to go to this practice, I don't want to go to work, I don't want to do this or that or blah, 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 blah. But once it's taken from you, you're like, what am I doing with my life?
I know, like the unemployment rate skyrocketed and people were like dying to go out and get a job or just simply do something. Yeah. There were just so many people that sat there for days and days. And also, some people didn't even go back to work. Like when we went back to school, there's probably still people that are remote for work or remote for like college or something still this year that are doing online school. And I personally hated it.
Oh, I'd have to agree with you on that one. That remote work was not for me, mainly because, and I'm sure you share the same opinion, if you're staring at a screen and say you're talking about a book you read, whatever subject, doesn't really matter, and you're just staring at a screen, and yeah, you're listening to like your classmates say stuff, but it's not the same as having that in-person discussion where, so I'll use English class for an example, where you have all the desks lined up in a circle and you're debating back and forth and people are like actually reading. I don't know, it's just not the same, kind of going back to that like human contact thing that everyone was lacking. And just at the end of the day, I'd be in 7th period and by that point, I would just be so mentally drained, just staring at a screen, typing out all my answers instead of talking to people about it, like waiting for instructions from a teacher, having that teacher leave, and then not knowing what to do in case like I was struggling. It was bad. Right,
especially math too. I remember Miss Wakeland would try to teach us like math. It didn't even matter the subject, and I would stare at it, and I wouldn't process a single thing that was on her board or that weird whiteboard online thing that she called it. And it wasn't the actual math itself, the subject. It was easily comprehensible, but it was staring at a screen for 6 hours beforehand that just made me completely burnt out.
You can't function anymore at that point. You can't function normally.
Think about it. This year, for Christmas break, there's going to be people nearly getting in thousands of car accidents in the parking lot, like almost hitting each other, trying to get out of here. But last year, it was just a close of the laptop. We were remote last year before break. Do you remember that?
That is very weird to think about, especially after all the complaints. I hear people complaining daily about that parking lot.
It's so bad. I'd rather that, though, than have a teacher on a screen just be like, have a great break. Okay.
It doesn't even...
Flame it closed.
It doesn't feel like that
It doesn't feel real when I was doing it either. It didn't feel real at all. It wasn't one of those things where it's like, when you're in it, it doesn't bother you. No. Throughout the whole thing, I was like, this is wrong. This is wrong. I can't do it anymore.
Going back to, we were kind of talking about academics during the pandemic. I think it's so interesting to see each grade's almost perspective when it hit. So March 2020, we were sophomores. My sister was an 8th grader, so the freshmen were still kind of new. That must have been a great freshman year for them, I'm sure. The juniors, I mean, I wonder how the seniors, it's hard to say who lost the most, because yes, the obvious answer is the seniors, because they lost, they had their junior prom, right?
They had their junior prom, yes.
Class of 2020,
Yeah.
okay. So they had their prom, but their graduation was, I mean, they got a graduation, but it was nothing like normal. The juniors are where we were last year, and they were kind of scrambling. Like, obviously, junior year is the most important year for grades, and those are majority of the time the grades you want to submit. I think we made it out pretty okay. As bad as it was, with everything we just talked about, I think, except for MCAS, which we had to do this year, I think we were okay because we were learning stuff, but nothing was like urgent. Like, we didn't have to do SATs. We didn't have to make our grades like, this is gonna sound so bad, but make them like as high as they need to be junior year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've definitely told people that I'm so thankful, as horrible as it sounds, I'm thankful that it happened to us in our sophomore year.
When it happened, yeah.
Because freshmen, you're trying to get a feel for everything, trying to get on your feet and understand what high school is kind of like. You can't get a good idea of that if you're online the whole time.
Yep.
Junior year, like everything you just said, SATs, grades, testing, like first year taking AP exams. This year, of course, self-explanatory. But sophomore, we didn't even have any field trips, no nothing. And we got MCAS waived. We just chose to take it for other scholarship reasons.
Yep. I'm trying to think. I heard a lot about the AP students. A lot of my then junior friends who are now freshmen in college, so the class of 2021, they were talking about how insane the AP tests were, and I am so glad that we didn't get that, because to think about learning a certain way, like you have all these tests. I'll use AP Bio as an example. I didn't have many test-based assessments because we couldn't really do that the way we were learning. Everything was through AP Classroom, which is kind of the College Board's website, and they give you videos and all of that. But we didn't have any test-based assessments. So we would have to learn through there. We would practice tests on there, like practice questions. But going back to the class of 21, when they were juniors, that AP Bio class had, I believe, 5 open response questions because the College Board had to scramble to put it together.
They didn't do well, apparently.
Some people thrived because they could explain everything and maybe they didn't like multiple choice as much. And some people just didn't. It was really unlike any other AP test before. I remember last year, I took AP US History, aka A-Push, and there wasn't a long essay question because students, a lot of the country had been in a hybrid situation that we were, or they were fully remote, depending on what state it was. And there was just no, like, we practiced doing essay questions in class, right? And then we find out, like, maybe a week to 2 weeks before, and it's like, oh, nope, there's your document-based question where your evidence is provided for you in, like, 7 or 8 documents, and then there's no long essay question. So they changed it last year. They still reverted it to almost what the original test was, but it was still, so who knows what it's going to be like this year.
Oh, for AP Euro.
For that, for even any test.
Oh, yeah. The A-Push kids this year. Okay.
Yeah.
AP Lang, I think, was great for me, at least, because I felt plenty prepared for it, because there's only so much you can do with English, like read something and understand it. I mean, the whole class is based on, like, rhetoric and stuff like that. And we had, despite only having a certain amount of classes per week, like, we only met once a week for the majority of the year.
Yeah.
And I was actually pretty ready for it. So we had done so many like practice questions and everything so far. So I'm thankful for that.
Yes, definitely. Getting those college credits, it's crazy. My AP Euro exam, I checked recently on UMass Amherst website, and I think I can get 8 credits if I pass that exam, which is huge because that's like 2 classes. Normally classes are like 3 to 4 credits each.
Is that a 3 or a 4? Do they
4 or 5.
Oh, okay. Because I know some schools take 3.
It's a very little percentage of them, unfortunately, but yeah, no, they have very high stakes and they know how difficult of a class it is, so they're giving you 8 credits.
I'm hoping I do well in AP Calc because, I mean, I don't see the point as far as my career goes. That's just me specifically to take some like basic calculus class. That's not going to help me in any way, shape, or form for what I want to do with my life. So I figure just get it over with.
Yeah.
I talk to people about it all the time, and they tell me like, oh, you should be a mathematician or like an engineer or like something weird that has to do with math or even accounting. And I say, just because I'm good at math does not mean I take joy in math at all. It's horrible to me. It just, my brain doesn't work that way. I'd rather things be gray versus black and white. Like right or wrong is not a good reflection on life in general, because nothing about life is just this or that. It's all complicated and it can be interpreted in any sort of way. So math just doesn't jive with me the right way. It does with some people, but I don't feel that way.
Even though you're good at it.
Exactly.
I know, it's funny because I think that's one of the most asked questions for us seniors. Not only what do you want to do, but why. Some people will want to go into those high-paying 6-fig jobs where they're like finance, accounting, they want to become the CEO of a company or whatever, and I think that's why a business degree is so valued these days. Some people are just in it for the money because money equates to their happiness. Some people find jobs that they love and that also happen to be high-paying jobs, or they can climb the ranks of their job, and then some people are really just in it for their happiness.
Yeah, I agree with just doing it for the happiness, because of course I want to be financially stable enough to maintain like myself or a family or something like that, but I don't want to spend my life doing something that makes me miserable every day. I want to get up in the morning and actually want to be there.
Because if you're happy doing it, then your job performance is probably going to be better, which could possibly lead to a higher salary, which then leads to whatever you want to spend the money on.
Exactly. And also, this is, I feel like more of a popular opinion now because of when COVID hit, but a lot of people are just deciding to do trades instead, and I can definitely respect that. I think we talked about that last week.
I think you brought it up, yeah.
I talked about that with someone. Apparently, I can't remember if it was with my father or you in front of a camera. I kind of should remember something like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's a girl I work with who dropped out of college, and she wants to do a trade, maybe electrical, I think.
Really?
I'm not sure. But, I mean, some people just aren't for academics. Like, school is not the only type of smart that you can be. I know so many people who don't do well in school, but they're so, like, life or street smart. Like, they're good at business or literally anything else that doesn't have to do with what 2 + 2 is.
Yeah.
That's not everything that has to do with life.
Yeah.
There's a very small percentage of things that we're learning right now
that are applicable.
Exactly. And it kind of makes me angry in a way.
I mean, I think it's pretty sure we brought this up last time too.
We did.
But it's really what you do, because you could go to this huge big name school where it's accredited by all of these huge organizations or whatever, and then you get your degree, but then someone could have a degree at the state school next door and then also be making 10 times more than you are, or they could be happier than you are. When you're, again, going back to the financial stability versus happiness, it really depends. So I think that's why so many of us seniors are like, I need to find the perfect fit, not only for the next 4 years, but what it's going to provide later on, whether their ultimate goal is happiness, financial stability, or a combination of both.
Yeah, I try not to look down on people if they say, oh, I'm not going to college, I'm going to do this instead. Because God knows where that's going to take them. They might not care about money at all.
Yep.
They might just want to do what they want to do, and I can respect that more than anything. There's so many people, I find it shallow, that just want to do it for money and nothing else.
Yeah.
You are going to school for a business or communications, sports management.
I am.
Because that excites you, and you've always been that way since we were little. And plus there's can be money behind it too. So it doesn't matter at all.
I think it's, because like you just said, I have known what I've wanted to do for a little while, and for the longest time, you can back me up on this, it was sports broadcasting. I was like, okay, I can get paid to talk to my favorite athletes in hockey or football, and that's like, it might not be the biggest salary in the world. It's not going to be the same as a CEO of a company or whatever, but it's going to put food on the table. It probably will pay for more than that. And like I said earlier, it can pay, I can get paid for doing what I love. And then I recently discovered sports agency, which I would also get to work directly with. If I make it far enough and work hard enough, I would get to work directly with those pro athletes, making their deals, negotiating contracts, possibly working with like a marketing team for any merchandise they have, all that sort of stuff. I'm representing their name, and you get commission on all of those deals that they make. So it's like, I feel like it was a good fit for me because, yeah, I obviously want to be happy. I don't want to be miserable because then what's the point? But it's also, I'm not going to lie, I did consider the money part. I did consider the monetary part.
You do, anyone does to a certain degree. I'm basing it on what drives you the most out of everything. What's driving you is your passion to talk to these people that you idolize in sports and everything like that. And also, you know what your skill set is too. That has something to do with it too. Yeah. I mean, the reason I didn't know I wanted to do film for a very long time. I just had something in the art realm, but I figured writing and cinematography, like picture, and you can include anything in a film that you want. There's music, and it takes so many people, and you can build a community to make something incredible. And it immediately clicked in my brain. Yeah. Because it had to do with skill set, passion, and whatever. So.
I always thought for the longest time, I mean, after I saw Pitch Perfect, because of like, we always talk like Spotify playlists and our music tastes, which I know mine's not the greatest, but it's okay.
I never said yours was bad.
I think I always saw you becoming a music producer, kind of the same thought process that you had for film. After seeing Pitch Perfect, I was like, oh, is she going to be, forgetting the character's name.
Anna Kendrick?
Yes, her. What is her character's name? I don't remember.
Oh my God.
It's not Bella because it's the Bart and Bella.
It's the Bellas.
Okay, we're both blanking. Okay. But anyways, I think the audience gets the point. I always saw you like kind of like mixing up those tracks and kind of recommend, because you would get to work with those almost the same thing as I was doing, but like for musical artists, you would get to work with whatever big names you want depending on what area of music you go to, and that's almost like a creative outlet. It's not something that you're restrained by, like you said, with math, and you can kind of do whatever you want.
That's true. I also considered that because I'm not sure about career path, but I definitely will study music composition or something like that. I'm talking about like Mozart. Yeah. Like actually like the steps to putting together a song, like layers, songwriting and everything like that. I mean, that can go for film too. Like, films need music people that design certain songs for a certain TV show. I just watched a show on Netflix called Arcane. Yeah. And it's based on the game League of Legends, which I have never played League of Legends. You didn't really need to watch the show. Yeah. But they had a bunch of, like, again, big names for artists come together, and they just made songs designed for the show. And they're pretty good. And something like that is also pretty cool too. So I'm looking into things like that. Nice. So if I can definitely take a class on that, or even acting too, because worst case scenario, I'm not good at it and I just tried it and I'm like, okay. And then what if I am good at it and I can actually take that somewhere?
The good thing about that, all of those classes you just said, let's use acting for an example. Maybe you don't become an actress, but you all of a sudden have that point of view, and then you go on to be a director at Netflix. All of a sudden you have that point of view of the actors, which makes you a better director because you can understand their point of view. You can see what they're hearing from you, which makes your job a lot easier because you can see both sides.
Exactly. I have said that to so many people, and I'm like, there's no lose in this situation. Even if I'm bad at it, say I'm the worst actor anyone's ever seen
I don't think that's going to be true, but
I will understand what it's like to be an actor, what their thoughts are, how they see things, how they perceive what they're being told to do. It'll make me that much better at my job if I understand where they're coming from anytime I talk to them.
Do you want to direct? Do you want to write screenplay? What do you want to do?
I can do both. I can do anything I want. I am God.
That's the beauty of college.
Yeah, I am interested in just dabbling in everything. I actually talked to a woman, I told you about this recently. My mom got me in touch with a director. I think she's from Britain.
That is so cool.
But she takes breaks between screenplay writing and she'll direct things. She's won a couple of awards. I'm not sure what they have to do with. They're smaller films. But it was really great getting to talk to her and sort of understanding what it was all about and how she kind of figured out what she wanted to do. And again, can do writing and directing and has like parts of her life where she does both. Like if she's tired of one, she can take a break. Because I love writing so much, but I understand myself and my mental process and health. So if I'm alone for too long, if anyone is alone for too long, you have to take a break and actually go out and do something. Because I tend to put myself in rabbit holes, and I understand that that's not healthy. And she does the same thing. When I was talking to her, she actually has checked herself into a hotel from her family to get herself to write.
Oh, wow.
Which was kind of interesting. So.
Yeah, well, we'll see where it goes. I'm excited to find out where you're going.
I'm excited to find out where you're going.
I mean, I'm going to UMass.
I know where you're going. I just meant like career-wise.
Yeah.
You committed last week. Last week? Yes.
Committed 2 weeks ago from today, signing next week.
I will be there.
Woo.
It is outside, right?
So yeah.
Is it going to be like that scene from the movie The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock, where he just picks up the hat or
I
the
have
shirt or
never
something?
seen that movie, so.
You've never seen that movie?
Nope.
That's one of the best movies of all time.
I've never seen it.
Watch the movie.
Is it like a recruit? Is it like a signing day scene?
Yeah. He plays football.
Ooh.
He's a big dude.
I've never seen it, but I'm excited. It's kind of just sealing the deal, knowing where I'm going, and just kind of being done with it. It's bittersweet because I made relationships with all of these coaches and all of these teams and schools, and they were like, yeah, we want you. And then you have to tell them no. And it's like, oh, it's so sad. But then they all wish you good luck. They wish you good luck with your season. They wish you good luck with your college season. And honestly, I'm going to be seeing a lot of them at the meets that I'm going to anyways, because Northeast track and field, the Northeast area of track and field in general is kind of, they all compete against each other no matter what division. It's really just like the skill level that the team runs at.
Yeah, at least they're being nice to you about it. You were so scared. And also, I think you really liked the process of going around and looking at schools and meeting people. Like that whole thing in itself was fun for you, just going around and seeing things and weighing your options and stuff like that.
Yeah. We're going to find out where everyone's going real soon.
What if I wait till April, is it 20? No, April 30th.
The deadline is May 1st.
What if I
so
wait
it'd be
till
April 30th.
What if I wait till April 30th?
I'm not going to let you do that.
You won't?
I'm not going to let anyone do that unless, I mean, you can announce it on May 1st, but if you decide, you got to put that deposit down the next day.
True.
You don't want to do that.
How are you going to force me, though? Are you going to take my computer and email people and be like, yep, I'm going here?
I'm not going to force you to do anything. I'm just going to maybe drop a few suggestions of, oh, maybe you like here better than...
Drop a few suggestions, steer me in the right way.
Yeah.
Okay, go
Hopefully.
over here.
Hopefully.
I'm good at decision making, except for when I'm hyper aware of how much weight it has on my life.
I think you'll just know. I mean, I had, as cheesy as this sounds, I had this feeling of, okay, this is the right place for me. And I honestly kind of, at the end of the day, it really kept on coming back to UMass, and I was like, okay, once I made the decision and once I told the coach yes, I was like, this is a good feeling. Like, the weight just felt like it had been dropped off my shoulders.
I hope that stays true, because it's
I think
kind
it
of
will.
a pain. It's a pain to transfer. And if you have that good feeling, then it makes you feel better afterwards, because there's nothing worse about making a decision and then saying to yourself, oh, that may have been the wrong one.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it was like that for you. I hope it's like that for me. I haven't gotten that feeling yet. I'm sure I'll get it once I start looking into all the schools that I've gotten into. But yeah, as of right now, I'm waiting till April 30th,
No.
2022.
No, you are not.
I'll get
I'm
back
not
to
letting
you by
do
then.
that. All right. Are we?
I think I'm done. Do you have anything else to say?
Nope.
All right.
All right. Well, that was episode 2 of Senioritis version 2022. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.